What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Aaron B, and welcome back to Tacos and Touchdown Live. Shane's not with us today. He's working, doing the radio business, doing iHeart Radio stuff for the San Antonio Spurs. But he should be back maybe next week or so. But when it comes to NBA season going on, he's gonna keep him busy. But appreciate him for even taking time to be on the show. But we have a special guest, host of Couch Coach Live. Couch Coach, how's it going, bro?
I'm good, man. What's going on, man? It's been a
Yes,
while, man. But
yes,
we here.
sir. I know you're in a great mood. The Commanders are doing pretty solid this year and everything. And y'all got a new coach, new quarterback, new team. How's being a Commander fan been so far?
I've been very well. I mean, and it's funny, going back to when Dan Quinn was hired in February. At first, I really wasn't too fond of it. I mean, but I had to look at it from the perspective, hey, it was a need versus a want. You wanted that experienced head coach. Obviously, him, was your former defense coordinator in Dallas. So, and then, and I think we finally have, in a sense, have a plan for this team. I think one thing too, and Aaron, on our end too, on your end as well too, where uh, everything kind of came together. You got a coach, you got the pieces, and everything aligned, and it was a collaborative effort. It wasn't a situation where in previous years, hey, well, we got a head coach, but he doesn't like the quarterback, or we hire the special teams. We hire a coordinator first, and then kind of fill in, a la like a Jim Zorn back in the day. But just
Yeah.
in general, it is a great feeling, and then just the fact that especially this year, it's really has been like special. Obviously, in the games, obviously, the Hail Mary against the Bears. It's just been some great moments for this for this team thus far. I think consider the fact to be 7-4, I definitely think they are ahead of even my expectations of this team, and it's been a great year. It's kind of just one of those years where it's finally our time. I think that's the kind of the really the kind of sum up everything. I just feel like this is our time. This is our time to become somewhat of contenders in this league and have some success for a considerable long time. Hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know y'all were like high on trying to get Ben Johnson into the lines, and you said you weren't like high on the Dan Quinn pick as the head coach. And when it comes to Dan Quinn, he's definitely a players type of coach, a guy that a lot of players rally towards. Like that was a great fit for y'all because the coach y'all had before he was the old school minded coach. Now you got a coach that he's defensive oriented, but he brought in an offensive minded coach as well and everything. But did you think there was like a high chance of Ben Johnson becoming the head coach for the Commanders at that time?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely thought he was the odds-on favorite. I think almost the kind of the point about the need versus want, because
Yeah,
obviously this once again I almost gonna be like my former owner and Daniel Snyder, where Ben Johnson was a flavor of the month. Obviously, if you look at the
yeah,
success of Detroit, and we always know in years, hey, you always get that hot coordinator, a hot offensive coordinator, young. I think Ben Johnson like 30 something years old. So you're
yeah,
thinking of course, in our Commanding Kingdom fandom craziness, a lot of people brought up the name of Joe Gibbs, almost kind of eerily similar to kind of how he was. I think he was at the time was with Tampa Bay. He was a young guy at the time when he came to Washington. So a lot of people was like, "Oh, this is gonna be our next Joe Gibbs." So
yeah.
you know how we jumped the gun.
Yeah. And I know it really made you happy because he's a former Tar Heel. I just found that out as well. He was
Yeah,
a back,
yeah.
so that I know that would have been a big plus having him. But hey, Dan Quinn's is not a bad of a coach. It's just he didn't have his. I'm trying to think the words. He's a solid coach and he's a great defensive mind and he's a definitely guy you can rally around. And I think that was a great fit for y'all. Speaking of another good fit for this team, uh, when it comes, is Jaden Daniels the front runner for the rookie of the year? If so, should Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator, receive any credit for Jaden Daniels' success?
Yeah, I think if you look at it from a numbers perspective, I think obviously you look at maybe if you look from a statistical standpoint, Bo Nix is probably better as far as I think he has like 14 touchdowns, but he has like 6 interceptions.
Yeah.
And he has like 300 something completions compared to Jay Daniels. I think he's like at 292. They get like 10 touchdowns and like 3 interceptions. So he's been more efficient. And obviously, I think it's going to be coupled with the success of the Washington Commanders if they were to make the playoffs. And I think at this point, they're at a point where they can backslide and make the playoffs in a sense. So you're looking at it from that standpoint. I think Drake might have been a little bit too late to the party. I think if he would have started earlier, because he's on the tear, he has nine touchdowns. But I definitely think Jaden Daniels will be the rookie of the year. I mean, if you look at it just from the standpoint of hey, he led a team that last year was 4-13, and then potentially having this team in the playoffs and probably going to have a double-digit win season. So you look at that, and yes, and it does. Cliff Kingsbury definitely deserves a lot of the, the credit for it, because I think that's another one where you have a guy entrenched like a Cliff Kingsbury that believe in Jay Daniels, who amplifies his strengths and what have you, and even you see the success of other quarterbacks he's had in the past. He's literally like the young quarterback whisperer in this league. I mean, look at what he did in your backyard with Patrick Mahomes in Lubbock. So
Yeah.
you look at that. Then you look at like kind of what he did with Kyler Murray, and even to an extent a little bit of Baker Mayfield when he was there as well in your backyard. And then you look at the success he had with Kyler Murray. So big time. I definitely think he does. A great offensive mind, that air raid offense, and yeah, he definitely deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah. And that was the best fit when it comes to air raid off. He's got that deep. He got that deep ball. And one of the things I'm impressed with him is his present is like his poise and everything for a rookie. Because a lot of rookies are falter and everything and stuff like that. But you see he has a pocket presence because he has the option to run and everything. But were you surprised at what you've seen from him so far, like overall as the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like he and now I'm not going wood. So this time last year, seeing him at LSU,
Yeah.
it was like, oh my god, like he's taking too many bizarre hits, like
Yeah.
versus here where he's not really taking as much hits. I definitely am surprised by his ability. I mean, and especially considering the fact just like his cool demeanor. And I know people say, well, because you could do something in college and then the transition can be rough for you in the pros. I mean, it's like we really don't see guys, even though we just had a guy, CJ Stroud, that almost had the same success like that in his rookie year, but it's very rare. So you definitely think that was going to be somewhat of a learning curve. But I just like like you said, his demeanor. And I think it's just one of those where, and I know, like, being in the SEC helped him. And I think even to an extent in the Pac-12 when he played for Arizona State. But for him to kind of translate it and kind of, in essence, to be like a leader and like the calm, cool, collective type, and to a point, especially in his rookie year, to have a quarterback now that you think to yourself, we always got a chance to win a football game, and that's something where we really haven't had that in quite some time. So, yeah, it's a welcome addition for sure.
Yeah. And they did the right thing in the offseason, adding additions. Like you have Austin Eckler, you got Zach Ertz, and then you got a good running back tandem, and you got Terry McLaurin as well, and then some supporting cast like Noah Brown and who's Dami Brown, the one that was he at UNC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Diami, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So y'all did the right thing about adding those additions and having good supporting cast. And getting to my next question is on which player on this offense has been a surprise for you most in their impact on the team?
Probably for the most part, I think if I had to kind of narrow it down, I would probably, without saying Jaden Daniels, I would probably say, um, probably like a Noah Brown. I think you look at kind of, especially considering the fact he was kind of that. we got him pretty much like the week before the season.
Mhm.
A guy that essentially got cut by the Texans, and then you picked him up pretty much a few. I even might have been that same day he got cut there. So you just look at like kind of what he's done in that production, and he has been, as far as, and I know one of the biggest question marks was, once we got rid of Jahan Dotson, who was going to be the next one that's going to be on the side of Terry. You look kind of like what Noah Brown what he brings to the table. Even though like he, obviously we've seen him, obviously with your beloved Dallas Cowboys team as well in the past, and this is for him to kind of get acclimated to this one. But it's been a lot of good surprises. I think you look at like how B Rob now, I think finally, even in the, because he only played like 8 games. I know he's been kind of in and out of the lineup. I love what he's doing. So yeah, that's the kind of the two guys, for the exception of Jay Daniels, I think is the ones that I'm really shocked, but more so just like excited about their production just offensively for this team.
Yeah, and the best thing I've noticed about Noah Brown that he's been getting more consistent, being a part of this offense and everything, because he's always been a really good player. It just sometimes the consistency wasn't there, and then some of the health issues and everything when he was in Dallas. But I'm happy to see what Noah Brown's been doing so far with the team, even though it's on the Commanders. But it's
Yeah.
okay. But I'm but going into the defense. So speaking of former Dallas and a coach, and this defensive coordinator Joe Witt's philosophy, emphasizing like forcing turnovers and like the aggressive blitzing. What have you been your thoughts on how this defense performed under his approach?
And this is one of the defenses. I think this is a good defense. I
Yeah,
think for what we got. Obviously, when you go into this, you think of yourself, oh, you bring in a guy like a Joe Witt, who, was y'all former offensive, I'm not offensive
mm,
Lord, your DB
like
coach.
yeah,
So obviously, you're thinking, oh my God, Emmanuel Forbes is going to be Trayvon Diggs or Deron Bland. That's your first thought. See, that's where like, but you
yeah,
got to kind of reel it in. But I am impressed by like as far as like the linebackers. And then obviously like a guy like a Frankie Louvu. I think
mm,
he's been tremendous. I think he has 7 sacks on the season.
mhm,
Um, if you look at like our front, I definitely think obviously in the past, we had like Chase Young and Montez Sweat. You thinking, oh, those guys at the edge. But even with this, what we had at the cast, where you have like a guy like Dante Fowler, he's doing his thing. Another, former Cowboy there, he's doing his thing. He leads us, I think, eight and a half sacks. Then you even look at like kind of even in the small sample size at Doris Armstrong, which I thought was kind of one of the sleeper moves
that's a
that we
solid pick.
got, because even with last year, I think he was only 42% of y'all snaps, and he had
Mhm,
almost like 7 or 8 sacks. And then from what I recall, so you look at that. Secondary is going to be an issue, obviously, because we really never really, preseason wise, didn't really take care of that. But obviously now with the acquisition of Marshawn Lattimore, I think that definitely going to help, and I definitely think that could be a situation where who he's going to be teamed up potentially. If we draft a guy, could that guy be the one where we had it? That what I call opportunistic defense and kind of force those turnovers, kind of almost similar to how you guys were last year on the as far as from the DP perspective. So uh, the defense definitely is a work in progress, but it's gotten better. So obviously there's still some issues, especially look at the run defense, especially last week. Saquon pretty much had a day on us, this time last week. So you look at it, so you look at it, can we kind of get back from that? And I think it's a work in progress. I put it this way, it's better than what it has been in the past.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. Like that's when how it was when it was in Dallas. They really get against the pass, and y'all did get a good addition with Marshawn Lattimore, bringing that physicality and stuff. Because you used to see back when he would go against Mike Evans. So I know that's gonna be an interesting matchup going against Marshawn Lattimore against C.D. Lamb or whoever he's covering and stuff. But who has? We already kind of talked about some of the players that y'all added to this team. But which one player were you excited when they added him to the team?
The one play I think is I think it number one had to be Bobby Wagner. Um, I think when you sit down and you think about it, especially a team of this nature, you got to have a leader. You got to have a guy that's been there. And it's no knock to kind of what we've had in the past, but you bring in a guy, a leader who, you know, who who essentially is a catalyst that will get us going and can give us, an insight of how to become a championship winning football team. Hell, just even be a team that can be consistent enough to win week in and week out. When we got him, that was a perfect addition, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. And when you think of like having like that Michael linebacker, he's definitely a true definition to have one as a leader and everything. Because I can't think of the last Mike y'all had was like a London Fletcher type of guy, like could just lead the room and everything. A guy that I don't think he ever missed a game, and he played for almost 15 years or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, getting into the game, who do you think will be the offensive player of the game, defensive player of the game, and the X factor of the game?
All right. So offensively, I definitely think it's going to be Brian Robinson. I definitely think. I mean, and not to kind of beat a dead horse in a sense, but you look at, can he have like a Joe Mixon type of game, like Joe Mixon had on Monday, like as far 3 touchdowns? Could he be? I think he has that ability to do that, and I definitely think, obviously, how you guys are on the red zone, worse in the league. So I definitely think,
Yeah, dead.
once we get to the 20, just get B Rob going and what have you. So I definitely think he'll be that on that end. Defensively, I would probably say, well, I know Dante Fowler, he was kind of iffy in practice, but I still think he's gonna go for Sunday. I definitely think he will be there as well. Because I kind of wanted to say one of the corners, maybe him or maybe like Jeremy Chin. I'll put it that way. Where I
Okay.
think potentially, if you look at from a safety, because obviously we know that Cooper Rush is probably going to not run, but he's probably going to pass the ball probably, more. Because he threw like 55 the other day. Was it 55?
Yeah, he threw 55 against
55.
40. No, he threw 45 against the Eagles, and he had like 340 some against the Texans and everything. But
Yeah, it
that was empty calories. It didn't even mean
yeah,
it was all.
but so but I definitely think it'll be a guy like a Dante Fowler. I think he'll get some penetration inside, potentially get a Cooper Rush a little rattled. As far as from that perspective. So I think the X factor, in my personal opinion, if I had to kind of choose one, because we talked about Frankie, we talked about probably would be from an offensive standpoint. I'm just curious how Zach Ertz will play. I think he'll be someone where, because you still on defense on the Cowboy defense side, you still got Trayvon there, so it's like kind of one of those where you necessarily don't want to kind of throw on that side potentially for there. So I definitely think it's going to be somewhere where if we can get a guy like a Zach Ertz going and help help. Obviously, we had a run game. Then you obviously got Zach Ertz. I definitely think he'll be an X factor. I think he'll, because I'm not sure how many. I think he had like 6 targets. I think he had 6 receptions last week against Philly. But I definitely think he can potentially get about 8, 9 receptions in this game. So I definitely think he would be somewhat of an X factor and kind of help matriculate that offense, because I think one of the keys is going to be that third down efficiency. So I definitely think he'll be a guy, couple with maybe like a B Rob or Austin Eckler, who especially him, and probably more so of Ertz and Eckler, who will be getting like as far as those third down plays, kind of the pretty much that check down pass, in the sense where they can kind of move the field, because obviously last week we were 3 for 12, and that to me was like the difference in the game. Definitely from a third, being able to convert on third down, continue the drives, get your opposing defense tired, and wear them out. So that's kind of my biggest. That's pretty much my playmaker, not playmakers, but as far as my factors as far as individual performances.
So we're on the same route when it comes to like the offense. So like the offensive player game, I definitely have B Rob, of course. He's gonna run it up the middle and he's gonna test that defense early. And this defense has been nothing when it comes to the running game. If you can get the running game going, ask Saquon and ask Joe Mixon, they did pretty well against us. It's hurt to say that, but it's just the honest truth.
Yeah.
The defensive line is not the same. Yes, you add addition of Michael Parsons back, but those D tackles are not it. Like when it comes to Osa, he's been average in our one tech. It's not there. I'm not gonna even try to roast him, but nothing like that. I'm just gonna keep it honest with that. But on the only difference we have was on the defense. I think the defensive player game, even though we're gonna lose the game, I think it's gonna be Michael Parsons going against Brandon Coleman, like doing some inside rusher, getting him involved against that left tackle and everything. But I think he could at least come up with a couple sacks and some pressures, being an impact player. But on the X factor, I definitely agree on Zach Ertz. We haven't been the best against tight ends, and hopefully they do not put Donovan Wilson in coverage going against him because Donovan Wilson is not a cover guy. Hopefully they put with Wanye Thomas, but Zach Ertz in the past have gave the Cowboys fits, and I think he could be like that safety blanket for Jaden Daniels, like you're saying in those check downs. And also who could also be X factor is Austin Eckler in the receiving game. He might be the receiving leader this game, just getting that rotation with those guys. So yeah, that's my offensive defensive player of the game. But my second to last question for you is, what are your three keys to victory to beat the Dallas Cowboys?
Efficient run game.
Yeah.
I look at converting on third down. And I think as far as limiting the big plays for Dallas, obviously, like as we all know, essentially this team is one dimensional. Pretty much, it's going to be majority of Cooper Rush is going to be passing the ball. It'll be mixed with some run, but you'll probably see a majority of them airing it out. Just avoid those big plays. I think that's one thing too. In a strange way, we've kind of limited some of those big plays. So obviously, there's still some guys on that team on Dallas that can make a big play and can wreak havoc on this defense. So limit the big plays, convert on third downs, and run the ball effectively.
Oh, and you forgot one other one. Just show up. That's all you got to do. Show up and just.
I mean, yeah. I mean that's true, but.
I'm just being honest, but I guess I could do a figurative, like if there's a chance of us winning, is you got to contain the run game. It's something that we haven't did, and minimize on the mental mistakes and everything. I know they got into some skirmishes and everything, and then just like on the offensive line, just just getting stepping out, like those mental mistakes and everything in the game is like contain the Commanders to under 21. That's all I can really say. Is redundant. That's basically been my keys to victories. Have they listened? Not since we beat. I'm trying to remember the last team we beat is
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it was Pittsburgh. I don't know. That's how bad it's been for the Cowboys, and that's my keys to victory against it. It maybe it's wishful thinking and everything, but if you can get those things to a science in minimizing Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler in the receiving game, and just containing that run game, and just I know Trayvon Diggs and Terry McLaurin have been have a good matchup and everything. And Trayvon Diggs had his number these last 2 years, but that doesn't mean that he's going to do it this year. This may be the year where Terry McLaurin gets the last laugh in this matchup. But I want to get into like the last but not least, just get into a little fun talk. So what's on the menu for the Cowboys and Commanders game for you?
That is a good question. It's probably gonna be. I know I'm probably gonna start it off with some with my little. I call it my little double layer nachos. So I put lay some chips down.
Okay.
I go to Aldi. So they got like the little scoop chips. So I put a little, pour some chips down, put some cheese on that one, then put some more chips, and then so make it like a 2-layer. I
Okay.
probably start off with that. Um, I'm still debating because we actually got a new pizza spot in my neighborhood, so I might do that,
Okay.
grabs that, and that or push come to shove, probably if I don't do the pizza, it probably like grilled chicken sliders
Okay.
and,
That sounds
probably some fries and some good to drink, some I drink like LaCroix, so that's kind of like
Oh,
those
okay.
those, yeah. So it's gonna be real chilled and
Yeah.
kind of and fun.
I
Yeah,
feel you. Oh, which have you tried that? Was it pineapple coconut LaCroix?
I'm an orange guy. I'm either
You're on.
orange. This is tropical fruit, and then there's one that's hibiscus berry or something like that.
I haven't tried out
Yeah,
biscuits,
so
but those other ones are good.
yeah,
Y- Yeah, that's it's like the perfect thing. Like if you're trying to get your kick off of soda, and it does have it
yeah,
because it got a good flavor
yep,
to it. Because
yep,
I know there's a lot of sparkling water. A lot of them, it's kind of like it's like it tastes like air, like carbonated air, but it's like you
yeah.
just get like a dash of like mango or orange.
Flavor,
It's like
yeah,
it's like, but Lacroix hits the spot. I'm not gonna lie,
refreshing. Yeah, it's
yeah,
refreshing.
yeah, for sure. But when it comes to like, what's your favorite pizza though?
I'm more so as far as the topping or just pizza in general.
Other toppings.
Probably either between pepperoni or like grilled chicken, but
Me
probably
too.
more so like a grilled chicken.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're not into like the supreme pizza and all that stuff.
Kind of, sort of. The only thing I like those, but then sometimes they come with onions, so it's kind of I'm not an
Oh,
onions
okay,
guy,
okay,
so
I
that's
get
why
you.
I'm like because I could get like like they have like the pepperoni sausage and meatball like that one, like
Yeah.
those are good, but as long as they don't have no onions in
I know a lot of people ain't into the onions. It's like if you hate them,
it.
like
Yeah,
I
do
feel
not
you.
like them.
So,
Yeah,
so you're gonna be eating good though. So you gonna
yeah.
make sure. I'm about to say, are you sure you're gonna be able to make the finish watching the game after eating that good?
Oh yeah, because I space it out. So obviously you get the nachos in the first quarter. You just
Okay,
and it's
okay.
just it ain't like it's nothing. It's in a small little. It's in a like a little bowl, like like one of the little plastic bowls. So it's probably like 5 or 6 chips on one layer, and
Oh, I
then
feel you.
6 or 7 on the other. So nah, we ain't eat like those restaurant style nachos. Oh no. So,
Hey, you doing it smart.
which one?
I was asking like as a personal thing because I'm trying to figure out so how because sometimes I be eating, sometimes I'll be like, time to go take a nap.
Yeah, so it'll probably be. I'm kind of like I'm not like a toddler, like like you ever be like around like a toddler, man, not even a toddler, maybe like a school age child, where
Yeah,
they'll eat something and then walk away and do something else and kind of
yeah.
don't like really sit down. 'Cause that's how I am in the game in a
I
weird
feel
way.
you.
I'm always the one where okay, I have it at the table. I'll probably walk around, do something. Obviously,
Yeah.
still be
Oh,
within the vicinity of the game and a bird's eye view of it. But
yeah.
but yeah, it's yeah. So
Yeah,
that's how I roll on game days.
yeah, I guess we're kind of the same because I'm not. I'm a person that can't sit still. It annoys my fiance and everything, but it's just in my family's genetics. My mom can't sit down. My dad can't sit down. I'm just like I can't do it.
So I ain't the only one. I
Yeah,
really feel good because I know because one time my girl came over and she was just like, you never stay still during games because we'll just sit on the sofa for like
yeah.
5 seconds and I get up and like, where you going? I'm like, we're doing this. I'm doing that.
We over here walking. We out here literally looking like some coaches and stuff.
No, I was like, I was like, it just remind me of like kind of almost like how like, and I knew like how my little cousins when they were little because they would all like as far as like the energetic part where it's like
Yeah,
they'll sit here, they don't sit down to eat, they'll grab it, go
yeah,
and do what they need to do.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
Yeah, so it gets tense.
yeah, it does, especially when the game is one of the nail biter type of games. I can't sit still.
Right.
I can't just sit still because I feel that's when my legs start moving and everything.
Right. So when the Commanders played the Bears, so that was actually on my birthday, right?
Oh yeah.
So I was with my mom, my aunt, and my girl, and it was funny because they were like, "Well, when we gonna sing Happy Birthday and light the candle for your birthday cake?" And I'm like, "We're not doing this until the game is over." Because it was in the third quarter, and they were like, "When are we gonna cut your cake?" I'm like, "At the end of the game."
That takes too much away from the game because
Right,
you
right,
gotta make sure it don't always light. You gotta make sure that's going on. You gotta sing
right.
happy birthday, blow out the candles, cutting cake. You didn't already miss the bite. You probably missed a quarter already.
The game is over. Like, we got to do this when the game is over. Like, there's no celebration until the game is over.
Man, that was actually a really good game. After I think it was the Cowboy game when I got to see it, I'm like, hold up,
San
what?
Francisco, yeah, San Francisco,
Yeah,
yep. Hmm.
yeah. That was a game. I'm like, okay, can we I want to watch the Commanders and the Bears in this game. I was like,
Right, yeah. 'Cause, yep, y'all came on after us. Yep, I remember that. And I was like, mm.
but yeah, it was like y'all had a way better game, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But I appreciate you, bro, for being on the show. Before I let you go, where can they find your show and everything else you got going?
Pretty much Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Couch Coach Live, the website, couchcoachlive.com. And the podcast, you can check us out, YouTube, Facebook, as well. There on Couch Coach Live. Usually air on Tuesdays, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, man, once again, appreciate the invite.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Definitely go check out his website and everything he's got going on in his podcast as well. I got it in the link in the bottom for sure, so y'all can definitely give him a follow. He's definitely giving some great content as well as doing the journalism thing as well, getting those interviews in the DMV area. So keep up the great work, bro.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. This has been Tacos and Touchdown. We'll be back next Thursday. Peace.